Welcome to juliemangotv. I'm Robin Bourne. With me today is Gay Magnus, the creator and screenwriter of the short film One Patty. The film takes place in a patty shop and follows an impatient man, Elton. All he wants is one patty. Instead, he learns a valuable life lesson the hard way. There are so many fun moments to chat about, so let's jump into it. Thank you so much for joining me today, Gay.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's start off at the top with the opening sequence. So many of us eat patty, some daily, but have never seen a patty actually being made. Can you talk about why you set the stage with that, sneak peek behind the curtain?
Okay. It was just visual, actually.
Hmm.
Nothing. It was more technical than you know. That was the main reason. I wanted to start the film with something catchy and something that would get their attention, and also um, the party. I mean, this is something that not many people would pick up. I didn't expect people to pick up, but the different characters in the film, in the short film,
Hmm.
can be compared to the different ingredients in the patty.
Hmm.
One is a pepper, one is a crust,
Yeah.
very loosely compared to the different ingredients in the patty. So it's everything coming together
Hmm.
to form one product. So it was mainly visual. We wanted to start the film with something that would get people's attention. But there is also this other layer.
Yes. Okay, I actually like that. That's going to come up a little bit later, I think, with a question that I have for you. But first, I want to get into the sound design because we experience it is almost musical with the rhythms of the register button, the clock, the timing of the door opening, and the growling of the bellies waiting in the anticipation for their food. So it made me realize that I've never actually paid attention to any of the auditory parts of the experience. So I'd love to hear how you worked with your sound and music departments on really creating that musical experience for us.
Yes. Well, a co-worker of mine, I'm a musician as well. I don't know if you
Hmm.
know, but I'm a
What do you
musician.
play?
I, Stefan.
Okay, how have you found that? How long have you been playing as well?
Well, a long time. I started on piano. That was my first instrument. And when I went to college, that's when I switched to Stefan. So it's been a few years.
Hmm.
And that's one of my jobs as well, that I teach music. So I'm very conscious about sound.
Okay, so you
Uh,
definitely have the air for it then.
yeah, yeah. And I particularly like composing and arranging as opposed to performing. So
Hmm.
how sounds come together to affect emotions. So when I wanted somebody to write the theme music, I contacted a co-worker of mine, Orville Hammond, a Jamaican jazz pianist, very excellent musician. And I was tempted to do it myself, but I was like, Orville could do it better. So we spoke about the music, and we wanted something um, Caribbean as opposed to Jamaican, and something that's generically Caribbean. And
Okay.
we spoke, and he came up with something that I think was really nice. And then
Hmm.
the other part of the song now was the editor, who was also the DP, who is also very Gabrielle Blackwood. She's
Okay.
also very musical herself, although she's not a musician. She, as you said, has a very good ear.
Hmm.
It is a comedy. It's very light-hearted, and so the addition of the ticking of the clock and the stomach growling was to add to the light-hearted nature and the humor of
Yes.
the performance.
It definitely makes you feel like you're actually there because that stuff is probably actually happening when you're standing, well, it is happening when you're standing in the patty shop, but you don't pay attention to it. So I like that that was added in.
Yeah.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about the making of the patty really having a connection to the characters.
Yeah.
So the characters fit into certain stereotypical archetypes. So there's the chatty regular, the person who takes too long to order and has all the questions, the
Yes.
feisty server, impatient worker at lunch. So would it be fair to say that the patty shop is a place where Jamaicans from all walks of life come to converge and meet one another?
For sure. That's exactly why I set the story in a patty shop.
Ah, I love it.
It's one of the few places in Jamaica where you can find any age, any stage, any class, everybody goes to the patty shop.
Hmm.
You could be in the line and there's young, old, rich, poor, just everybody is there. So definitely, yes, that's exactly why it's set in a patty shop because it covers
Good.
the full spectrum of Jamaican culture. Right
It's
there in that
true.
one space.
Yeah. It's so true. Like, just as I watched it a couple times and as I'm talking to you now, just thinking about my experiences in a patty shop, and the experience is so similar, you can really feel the essence of being there through this short film.
Yes.
And then even with the patty, it's like patty is in its own lane of food category. Like, it's not just a fast food.
Mhm.
It's something that we kind of use to track inflation too. Because you know when the price of patty's going up,
That's
inflation
right.
is hitting us.
That's right. That's right. I never thought of that. But you're so right.
Yeah, it's like a commodity. It's our cultural staple. So did any of that play a part into why you chose to tell this story from Elton's perspective?
Mm, no, that didn't really play a part in why it was told from Elton's perspective. Elton, everywhere you go, any line you go in Jamaica, you're going to
Hmm.
find an Elton.
Yes.
If you go to the bank, any line, there's always an Elton. And
Hmm.
so he's the only one, everybody's frustrated, but he's the only one brave enough to say something or
Hmm.
frustrated enough to, to, you know, say something and get annoyed. So I figured that it should be from his perspective, right?
Hmm.
And then to see how the people around him react to it, or people who are going through the same situation, but reacting to it in a different way.
Hmm.
And what's interesting is that after the film was shown, was released, I would get calls from friends and family, and they said, "I'm in the back now, and you wouldn't believe what's happening. There's this guy, and he's doing the same thing that Elton was doing in the movie, or I'm in the patty shop, and guess what's
Yep.
happening?"
Because it's like even with patty shops, there's a patty place up here in Toronto that everybody loves. So when you go down there, you know you're about to be in a line waiting.
Yeah.
Sometimes the line goes outside the shop and around the next road. So it's
Wow.
like up here, because patty shops aren't on every corner like they are in Jamaica, you know once you go you have to wait, but there's still always that one person cussing in the line, even
Yeah.
though we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's his lesson too. That's
Mhm.
Elton's lesson. You know, that's how it is when you're in a line. Just wait. It's a party shop. You're ready to
Mhm.
get your party. Just hold on. Just wait.
So this question, I feel like we kind of answered, but I still want to get a little bit deeper into it because the dialogue in One Patty did not feel exaggerated at all. The commentary was really, it was normal, like again, because we experienced this.
Yeah.
It can be actually dramatic in real life when people don't get their food on time. Did you do any, aside from you just knowing the culture, did you do any field observations specifically for the script, or was it just all from memory?
No, well, both. But myself and the director, Eugene Williams,
Hmm.
we would go to party shops and we'd choose the most crowded times to go to the party shops. And it was just so interesting to see. We would just stand in the line pretending to, be clients, but we would be watching everybody. We'd be watching the servers, we'd be watching the different kinds of people, how they react. So yes, it was both. It was
Hmm.
both. But when I first started, it was from personal experience. But then when the film we started going into production, we went out on the road and we just started walking into not just party shops, mostly party shops, but any shops and just watching. It was fun. It was great.
It must have been because you were literally going just to people watching. You're just, okay, so what's this person doing?
Yeah.
I like that because you hit it on the nail on the head, though.
Yeah.
You really got the experience down pat.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah.
So there's one statement that I want to bring up, the must get to eventually statement, which is sometimes true, but it isn't comforting because sometimes it's the type of patty that you want might not be available in that eventually time. Would you agree that the scarcity mindset plays into the impatience that we see from Elton, or is he just impatient in general?
No, scarcity definitely. Because that's a very that would probably happen. You go and you don't get what you want. So all of that is in the back of his head. Apart from having to wait and whatever, but there is this thought that he may not get what he came for. But that's life. You have your plans. You set out to do something and you give it your all, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And I believe that a lot of times you get what you need. And what you need is not always what you set out to get. So that whole statement, you must get your pattern. You're going to get what you need.
Eventually, yep.
Eventually, yeah. Not necessarily what you want, but what you
need. That's true.
Yeah. So that's where that statement came from.
Okay, good. So the whole way through, we see each customer interact with the very pleasant cashier who chooses to work on her upselling when Elton gets to the cashier now. How important was it for you to have both the pleasant cashier and the server who is a little bit more assertive working alongside each other?
Yes, because I found that to be the case. The people that are collecting the money just quite pleasant, and so it was just a reality. It's just a trend that I noticed in stores, and of course you have your contrast. You always want contrast in stories, and you have that right next to each other. So they take your money. And then you sit down and you wait. So it's just something I noticed.
Okay. So I'm sure that if we were able to see the film in theaters or another group setting, there would be a collective audible reaction to what happens to Elton's patty at the end.
Yes.
I can hear my father saying, "Hey, Smekwis."
Yes.
But I do have a question. Was he running down Shanique as he left the shop?
Yes, he was. They had struck up some kind of, he was interested in her. And he was trying to, there was a misunderstanding and he was trying to resolve that. So he was trying to get to her as she left.
So he learns a couple lessons, one about his food, one with her, but also the last sequence. What I like about it is that Elton really sees his behavior reflected in the man in front of him, who is just as impatient. So I really feel like that might be the third lesson. If not, there could also be more that you can take from it. So why was that really important for you to include at the end?
Yeah, but it was just a way to show his growth. It was just very obvious. It's like he was looking in the mirror. To see somebody going through the same thing, and then for him to reflect on what his journey that he just went through.
You definitely were able to get a lot, especially in a short. Because one, we definitely saw the character development, like you just said, and just engulfing all the different parts of that experience all together. So that is one thing that I really do like about this short film, because I still feel like there was so much packed into it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
speaking on that, do you have anything else coming up that we can hear about today? Can you spill
Uh,
some beans with me?
I'm actually in the writing stage now.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of writing. There's another short film that I want to do, and this time it's going to be my directorial debut.
Oh, yes.
So I was planning on doing it later this year.
Mhm.
That's in the plan. It's called Happiness Guru, and it's about social media, social influencer, media social influencer.
Mhm.
And but yeah, I don't want to say too much about that because it's still in the planning stages. But what I have
Mhm.
been doing since one party is really getting my catalog going. I've been writing a lot of scripts, different um, full feature length films
Yeah.
and short films as well. So I've just been doing a lot of writing
That's
like a mother.
good.
Yeah. But this year I'm actually going to try and get that short film done.
Would you say that a lot of what you write, or what you are writing right now, is going to connect to culture the way that One Patty connected to culture as well? Are there different themes that you're trying to branch out into? Because I know that, especially as a Jamaican myself, I see the culture all the time, and it would be great to see more films
Yeah,
surrounded with our culture, especially since so much people know about Jamaicans, but do they really know?
yeah, yeah. Well, I hope so because one of the reasons why I write is because I remember what it was like not seeing much Jamaican culture on television and
Hmm.
how I don't know if you're familiar with Desmond's. It was a TV show that was set in England. It was about Caribbean people living in England.
No.
It's a long time ago. It's like in the 80s.
Okay.
But it's a British TV show, but it's about Caribbean people. And when I saw that as a child, it was like, wow. It's high quality production. And, it was us. I mean, even though they're,
Yeah.
I remember that feeling, and I want that feeling again. I want to give people that feeling when they go on the screen and they know those people. The
Hmm.
Jamaicans, they know them. They say, that's like my uncle, or that's like my sister, or that's me.
Hmm.
And so, yes, definitely, whatever I write, I really try to ground it in Jamaican culture. Right?
Good. We need it, because even like I'm only 24 this year, but even when I was younger, aside from going to watch Oliver Plays with my family, when I saw Jamaicans in TV, it was from a North American perspective, like a Canadian or a US perspective. So now that I'm older and I'm able to get access to more short films like your short film that are made by Jamaicans about Jamaicans, it's like we have to keep the ball rolling,
Yes,
because we have the resources now. Like you said, it's quality pictures. Why not? So I like that. I'm really
yeah,
excited for what you have going on.
yes. And that's why I'm glad for festivals like the Culture Festival,
Mm-hmm.
where because we need a space where we can just be ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't have to worry about is this film fitting into their aesthetic or it's about us, so it will fit
I'm loving it. I'm really excited for you. I'm happy about that.
in. Yeah, thanks.
No problem. And thank you to our viewers for watching Julie Mango TV. Subscribe for more conversations with Caribbean filmmakers. I'm Robin Bourne. See you next time.